Now, when you talk about the real Greek meaning for perfect is really complete. So really what Jesus is saying here, that I have told you these things so that in me you may have complete peace and confidence. I keep going and amplified. In the world you have tribulation and trials, distress and frustration, but be of what? Good cheer. Then it goes on to say in King and Amplified, take courage, be confident, certain, undaunted. And I love this part here from the Amplified. For I have overcome the world, and I love this part. I have deprived it of power to harm you and have conquered it for you. I have deprived it, that is the world, of power to harm you and have conquered it for you. I have deprived the world of power to harm you and have conquered the world for you. Say it with me like we don't say it again. Jesus has deprived the world of power to harm me, and he has conquered the world for me. One more time. Jesus has deprived the world of power to harm me and has conquered the world for me. All right, so if he has conquered the world for us, and he lives inside us, that makes us what? Conquerors. What? Come on now. Conquerors. If he's conquered the world, and now he lives inside of us, we are now what? Conquerors. All right, so the G once again here is good cheer. Good cheer. Now we want to talk about again very quick. We talked about a few C's we talked about on Sunday. I want to highlight a few of those. And then I want to, again, as I mentioned before, put this all together to say, if we are not receiving, we're supposed to walk in favor. If that's not occurring, what happens in that regard as well? So the first series, so when we talk about good cheer, we talked on Sunday, what Sister Tam says, cheer was what, like, cheerleading for, what did she say it was? It's your niece, what did she say? It's Uncle Ryan. Yeah, rooting for somebody, like a cheerleader or something. So I was asking what good cheer meant. So we had 3 C's, 4 C's actually. So the first one was this whole idea of courage. So good cheer means that we have courage. Courage. And we spent some time talking very quickly about courage. So let's go through that just to make sure we have that on our notes, because, and we talked before, please write down Joshua chapter 1, 6 through 8. Actually 6 through 9. In those few verses, the Lord tells Joshua to be courageous and have courage. He is now about to lead 3.5 million people that went and got on Moses' last nerve. Now he's responsible. And the first thing God says is have good courage. So what does courage mean? So what was the C we talked about? C is what? Confirm. So God confirms his word in and through us. The O? Obstinate. That we stand firm in what we believe. Here's the point. I must know that what the word says is more real than what I feel and see and experience in the world. And believers have kept living like what we see, feel, and experience is more real than what the word says. So I have to be obstinate to hold on to what I know is true until I see it. So think about this. If I'm only going to go by what I see, feel, hear, and experience, then I'm going to always be depressed, because I'm always going to see something I don't want to see, hear something I don't want to hear. But if I go by what the world holds a standard, I can now embrace and live up to that point. So the C was confirmed, the O was obstinate. What was the U? Urgent. That God is not giving us some recommendations like, what I'm going to recommend you don't do this. No, he's giving us some commandments to position us to receive what he already has for us. The R, remember and retain. Remember and retain. You can again write down over there from 1 Samuel chapter 17. That's again when Daniel is going up against Goliath, and as he's getting ready, it's 1 Samuel, and as he's getting ready to do that, he is going in and he's remembering he's already defeated a lion and a bear, and retaining information about how faithful God has been. The A, alert. The G, growing strong, and then the E, established. All right, so the C again, confirmed. O, obstinate. U, urgent. The R, remember and retain. The A, alert. The G, growing strong, and then the E, established. Excellent. So this whole point of good cheer. So that was one part, courage. Then the next one was confident. We talked about that. Confident. So what Jesus is saying in the midst of, now again, all this is going on in the midst of trials and tribulations. We were talking about trials and tribulations. In the midst of that, have courage. In the midst of this, here's the next one, be confident. In the midst of trials and tribulations, remain confident. What am I confident? I am confident that what God has promised in the Word, watch this, has already come to pass. Come on now. I am confident that what God has said in His Word has already come to pass. I just have to be in position to receive what's already come to pass. See, if my confidence is in the world, if my confidence is on anything else but the Word, then my confidence is going to always be shaken. What was that song years ago? Hold to His hands. God said, build your hope on things eternal and hold His unchanged hand. It is eternal. I'm holding on to the Word. So the courage, confident, what was our next C? Comfort. In the midst of trials and tribulations, take comfort. Take comfort. Take comfort. We were sharing before, what was that? The day we didn't have power. That's when it was, yeah. When we didn't have power. And we were talking about how, I was sharing with you how one of the neighbors who babysat the girls when they were little, there was an older couple. The man was just very active, always doing something, and had a stroke. And just kind of wiped him out. And can you imagine being just very active and not being able to do anything? And he was telling me one time, he said, I was praying by the side of my bed, and I was on my knees, and because this side was kind of paralyzed, he had trouble getting up and everything. So he tried to brace himself on the left side where the stroke was, and just fell over. Fell on his face and just wept, and just wept, and just wept, and just wept, and wept. And I told you, his granddaughter came and said, it's going to be all right. I'm going to help you. And what he remembered then, he said, there was God speaking through his grandbaby, saying that I'm going to help you. I'm with you. It's going to be all right. And so God is a God of comfort. So don't think in trials and tribulations we are comfortless. He is our comforter, from what we said already from John 14:26. Then the last C was what? Conqueror. And we talked very quickly. I want to give you this word again, this idea of conqueror. This conqueror, again, comes from the Greek word hyponokia. And then if you go back and look at the Greek, it means hypo means above, nokia means victory. So a conqueror is already beyond and above victory. Then Paul says in Romans 8:37, we are more than conquerors. So what does that mean? So again, if defeat is here, victory is here, as a conqueror, we're already here. We're already here, but we are more than conquerors, we're here. So here's failure here. And then right here is victory. As a conqueror, we're already beyond victory. And now Romans 8:37 says we are more than conquerors over here. So why is it that believers keep walking around in defeat when we're already more than beyond victory? So again, so all this is occurring in the context of trials and tribulations. In the world you will have trials and tribulations. Be of good cheer, take courage, be confident. I've overcome the world. I have deprived the world of the power to harm you and have conquered it for you. Now, trials and tribulations, very quickly. Trials, the whole point we talked about initially, by way of this whole point of trials, what do we say trials would have been? It would have been what? Pressure. So like a tube of toothpaste, what comes in is going to come out, pressure. And then we said tribulation would be what? What was that? Squeezed under the weight. I want to give you very quickly under this. So we got pressure, squeeze. That's why we always say trials and tribulations. They go together, being squeezed and pressure. Let me give you very, very quickly. I want you to write down, if you would, 2 Corinthians 4, 17 and 18. 2 Corinthians 4, 17 and 18. And please write down NASB next to that, the New American Standard Bible. 2 Corinthians 4, 17 and 18, NSAB. This is what it says here. Now I want you to listen to what it says. Now, let me just be clear about this. This whole point of tribulation comes from the Greek word triplis. So what it says, I love what it says here from the NSAB. For momentary light affliction, triplis, is producing for us an eternal weight of glory far beyond all comparison. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things that are not seen are temporary. What does it say? So what I see is what? Temporary. So here's so whatever the challenge was that I see is only going to be here for a while. What I don't see is the manifestation that's based on the word. That's going to be eternal. So why am I going to keep living life based on something temporary and temporal rather than eternal? So this trip. So let me give you very quickly 4 things about why then. So here let's put this in context. There have been times when believers have been taught the closer we get to God, the less trials and tribulation we have. You ever hear something like that before?
Yes.
And if you go down that faulty way of thinking, it's only a matter of time that person won't start coming to church. Because sometimes the closer you get, the more hell breaks loose. So as a result of that, you got Sister Paige. I'm gonna run down her street then. So if I'm basing then, so if the extent of my faith or Christianity is based on the extent of trials and tribulation, so if I erroneously conclude the closer I get to God, the fewer trials and tribulations I'm going to have, then I'm setting myself up for some failure. Because think about it, what is the pressure? What's the pressure? Here is the world trying to pull you over here. Here's the word trying to pull you here. And here's the point. And this is that's what I can't understand. It's already difficult enough trying to withstand the pressure from the devil when we in church all the time. Folk who don't go, I just don't understand what they stand on. I don't understand. I'm telling you, you can watch people who you can see who were just always consistent in studying the word, listening to the word, and watch their life right now. And it's not that they got more problems than anybody else, but the response to it is so much different. What's the pressure? So the pressure, the devil, all he can do is try to work to diminish our testimony for God. That's what he's working on doing. He don't care anything about us coming to church. If folk don't leave from church, they're cussing out. He don't care about folk what's going. In fact, pushes into church. But he's trying to reduce our testimony for the Lord. And everything he's doing is so I'm being squeezed under the weight because whatever is in me is going to come out. And got to have enough words so that what's going to come out of me is going to be the word and not all this other stuff that came out as well. So let me give you 4 very quick things, and we're going to wind up with one other thing we're going to talk about tonight. 4 very quick things about what the purpose, about this whole idea of tribulation. First of all, tribulations, you can think about end trials as well. All these begin with P, have a purpose. Every trial, every tribulation we have has a purpose. It may be a way of correction, or it may be a way of inspection. Think about that now. They came because I need to be corrected, or now this is in here because I got a little too full of myself. I need to have some inspection go on. But every trial and every tribulation has a purpose. So God is just very intentional about what he allows in the life of a believer. Always teaching us something. So tribulations have a purpose. Watch this next one. They provide a demonstration of our faith. Tribulations provide a demonstration of our faith. Tribulations and trials both provide a demonstration of our faith. So what is that saying? Don't measure somebody's faith by how much they can shout on Sunday. Measure when stuff gets rough.
Oh, yes.
What's coming out? All this word. You've been around people. You know that they've been around the word. And as soon as stuff crumbles, they act like they never heard the word. So the point is that in the midst of this, it provides a demonstration of our faith. Watch this next one now. They produce, I love this one. These temporary trials and tribulations, P, produce future and eternal glory. They produce future and eternal glory. What does that mean? Well, we just said from 2 Corinthians 4:17, these light afflictions The light affliction is producing for us a eternal weight of glory, far beyond comparison. So the trial